All right. Our next topic, we're sticking with pitching, but this is somebody who the Dodgers have added. If you missed it, there were reports this morning that they agreed to a minor league deal with Jordan Lyles. Just a quick rundown. It's a minor league contract, so he's not taking up a spot on the 40-man roster. He's going to report to Camelback Ranch to build up because he hasn't pitched in 3 months. The Royals placed Lyles on the temporary inactive list April 22nd so that he could tend to a family matter. The following day, he was transferred to the restricted list. Royals activated Lyles on July 20th and released him right away. He became a free agent. Now here we are. Uh, Blake, you seemed a little bit excited. You were going back in your memory of once being a big Jordan Lyles guy. So tell everybody why they should be excited.
I think in like 2018, I was intrigued by the idea of adding Jordan Lyles or some kind of year around there. I don't remember the exact year or even why, but at this point in his career, and to be fair, it's been most of his career, he's really just an innings eater. They brought him in, they'll throw him in AAA and just kind of increase their depth down there because as much as the Dodgers rotation has taken a hit with call-ups from AAA, that also leaves holes in AAA that they have to fill. So I think this move is just more trying to get innings down there to keep some of their prospects healthier and not have to force them to throw tons of innings because you do have to have veteran minor leaguers to fill out your minor league rotations down there. So if we see Jordan Lyles make a start, wouldn't totally surprise me. If he makes 3 or 4 starts, that would start to get surprising to me. And maybe he's a bullpen addition just to come up and eat some innings for a few games and then get DFA'd. So I don't think there's too much to look into this or think about at any point. It's just kind of a depth move that they got a veteran pitcher who can pitch at the major league level for free.
Yeah, Lyles has been a starter pretty much throughout his career. All 5 games this season were out of the bullpen. Those 5 scoreless innings, 0.80 WHIP. So he struggled last year. He hasn't necessarily been an ace by any means throughout his career, but like you said, maybe he is somebody who at some point helps take the burden off the rotation. I mean, at minimum, as you mentioned, the Dodgers have several prospects who have been up in their starting rotation that they've needed, and so Lyles is some relief, if you will, for Oklahoma City, assuming that they are going to put him into the rotation. But also, I mean, it might be a little while until he gets there and is ready. If he hasn't really been doing much for the past 3 months, he's going to need to basically kind of go through a spring training buildup. So the ultimate, I want to say impact, but number of times that he'll pitch for either OKC or the Dodgers, like could end up being 2 or 3 games type thing. I mean, not a whole lot there.
I mean, they signed Cole Hamels to $1 million contract to throw a single bullpen session for them. So what's whatever minor league deal Jordan Lyles is onto them?
Yeah, but that Cole Hamels contract, he was looking very good in the bullpen session. They were going to get rewarded handsomely for that, and then just things happened.
With maybe a second bullpen session.
Yeah, maybe. All right, let's move along. We're going to stick with pitching and with some veterans. I'll leave it at that. No secret, the Dodgers obviously need to address the rotation, and that might lead them to a reunion with none other than Rich Hill. Blake, were you as surprised as I was with this report this morning?
Yes, because I didn't think like Rich Hill was actually going to be a possibility to sign with any team. I still have some doubts, but kind of goes to show you how pitchy or how much teams need pitching at this point and how pitching needy they are. So, like, it would be surprising, but I think from their standpoint, they're kind of thinking like if we can trade James Paxton for a prospect and then bring in Rich Hill to kind of replace him in a similar role, even if you're getting 60% of what James Paxton was, probably worth it. I don't think it's a 1-for-1 swap necessarily kind of thing at this point, but you put him in your minor leagues and like Lyles, if you need a starter, you call him up for a game or two, a few innings, and then move on. So surprising, but kind of makes some sense. I would still be a little surprised if it actually happens, but yeah, I mean, what is he? 45 now? I think 44, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Last time he pitched, he was near a 6 ERA. So we'll see.
yeah, he is 44 years old, and this is basically carrying out a plan that Hill has talked about for multiple years of only pitching in the second half. I think he first brought it up in 2022. It seemed like maybe he was going to do it for the 2023 season. but the Pirates ended up signing him to a 1-year, $8 million contract. So he began with them on opening day, was traded to the Padres, finished the season with them. Then now has not pitched since last season ended. This was part of his, like I mentioned, his plan to sort of spend more time with his family. Hill, of course, was with the Dodgers from 2016 to 2019. During that time, he went 30-16 with a 3.16 ERA. Dealt with blister issues basically every season except for I think 2019. But even that year, there were multiple injuries that he dealt with and limited him to I think about 13 starts or 14 starts, something it was. I mean, I'm shocked. I don't necessarily. I will say, like, I enjoyed Rich Hill when he was on the Dodgers. I think it could be kind of cool and entertaining. He's fine if they also acquired 2 other starters, and Rich Hill is a third starter that they have now signed, maybe to a minor league deal to begin with, and then they figure out how they get him onto the 40-man roster or something like that. But yeah, I mean, if the Dodgers add 2 starters at the deadline and Rich Hill is one of them, I think that there's some serious trouble.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if they're fully confident Yamamoto's coming back and Bueller's going to turn it around, and then they just add Crochet or Flaherty and then sign Rich Hill, like, I think I'd be okay with that. Problem is, you're not fully confident in Yamamoto coming back, and you don't really know what Bobby Miller is going to give you. So they probably do need to shoot for a little higher. I think it was Brandon Gomes who said they're not really looking to upgrade on the margins. They're focused on impact. So if you're focused on trading for impact and then you do sign a player to help you on the margins, I think that makes a little more sense instead of trading for a prospect. But something of note for Rich Hill, he was a 4.7 ERA guy in the first half of last season and then became a near 7 ERA guy in the second half. So maybe he just tired himself out and needs to just pitch half a season and he'll be solid. Maybe that's what they're thinking there.
Yeah, see, yeah. So you get him half a season where he's refreshed, he's feeling good. You get him in the Pryor lab, which I have. Mark Pryor gets credit, but I have heard a lot of whispers that Connor McGinnis is kind of the true secret and guru behind that. But you get him working with the Dodgers pitching coaches, and hey, again, I know I'm seeing in the chat this isn't a popular possibility, and I can certainly understand the apprehension towards it. Again, I think if Rich Hill is like a third starter that the Dodgers add at the deadline, then it's fine. If he's one of 2 or one of 1, then there are serious problems and he's not going to be the answer. And that's even with, thinking it's one thing for Yamamoto to count on him coming back, but then you hope that he can then also stay healthy, which isn't with rotator cuff. Like that just concerns me. Like you said, Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller, those are kind of question marks right now, even as optimistic as the Dodgers are trying to be. So go ahead.
I will say there's probably another angle to this, that it could just be the Dodgers doing Rich Hill or his agent a favor and kind of leaking that we're interested just so other teams maybe start looking into it. There's kind of backroom things that go on like that all the time. So the agent says, hey, can you like pretend you're interested? Then they tell a reporter, hey, we're interested in this guy. And then maybe the agent kind of owes them next time they're discussing, or it's just, there's a lot that goes into all these things. So that might be a likely scenario that we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, perhaps. Time will tell. And who knows, what's interesting with Rich Hill is this doesn't have to happen by the deadline. So the Dodgers could see what they do at the deadline, see if maybe they still would be interested. Or if maybe by that point, maybe he signed with some other team because they took the bait that the Dodgers had some interest in him. But that's where that stands with Rich Hill.